Hey everybody, we are live for episode 11 of Feral But Sober. I have a really exciting guest today. I'll tell you guys, her story really hit home with me when I first read it this morning. Actually, this is all very new. She is stepping up for cancellation. Give me 1 second to get live everywhere, guys, and I will begin. Okay. Let me send her out the link. Hi, TikTok. I'm live now. We are here for episode 11, Feral But Sober. I just said this, but I'm going to repeat now because I'm live everywhere. I have an exciting guest. Her name is Stacy D. She has a super exciting story. I can relate to her story very much. She grew up in a home that came from ads and things like that. I'm going to let her tell her story. I don't want to tell too much about it. Link now. Okay. She has the link. She should be here any minute. She did not provide a bio to read while we wait, so we will just wait for her to tell her story. And she should be here any second. We just texted this and go. I was saying just a minute ago, and for me, that would help. Okay. Stacy stepped in for me because I had a last minute cancellation. The guest that I had scheduled for today is actually a friend of mine, and she ended up having to work today. So here's Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
I was just telling everybody that you actually are just helping me out with this. Was all thrown together very last minute because I had a cancellation. So I actually don't know any about your story except for what I read, but that I really related and that it really, really hit me in the heart. So super excited to have you share today. There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Sure. All right, Stacey, if you would just want to start off by kind of telling your story, and then we will take questions, comments, anything like that. If anybody's watching that wishes to participate, I have some questions that, about your story that I'm just curious about. I really love to see people that came. I told you this on our little interview call, that I really feel like if the cards were ever stacked against anybody, it was people like me and you, people that grew up, from the very beginning. That was all we ever knew. That was what we thought normal life was. So, recovery for us meant like relearning everything, so, it takes, and I hate to say that anybody's recovery is harder or less hard than anybody else's, because everyone has their own struggles and obstacles. And I understand that completely. But, like I said, for us, I think it was a whole different thing, because it was, we never knew normal life, or I never in my life had a normal role model, that wasn't just, I don't know, anybody that I could even look up to, or, based off of even like parenting, becoming, a mother. Like, I don't even know. I still struggle today, because I didn't have anybody to show me how to become a mother and to care for my children, or to, navigate, especially my daughter. She's a preteen, and I have no idea what I'm doing, because I don't even have anything to go off of. Like, I don't have a guide. Oh, this is what my mom did when I was at this time in my life, because we're not doing that. So
Right. Well, my name is Stacy D. My sobriety date is 1/27 of 24. I'm sorry. I grew up in a little town called Irving, Kentucky. It's in Estill County. It's starting on the eastern side of Kentucky. So I'm an old hillbilly. I grew up in those hollers and hills. I was born into life of addiction. My dad has always been a drug addict, and my mom became a drug addict when I was 10 years old. I have a brother who is a year younger than me. He is also one of us. Currently, he is in recovery, which I'm extremely grateful and proud of him for that. I am married. I've been married. This week was 18 years. My husband is one of us also. Um, I have 3 children. Hayden will be 22. Cassie will be 16, and Caleb will be 18. Um, I haven't spoken to my oldest child since he was 15. Um, I've tried to reach out, but he doesn't owe me anything. So I accept and okay with the fact that he doesn't allow me to be involved in his life. My other 2 children were adopted by my sister-in-law. So it's been a decade since I've seen them.
Hold on, baby.
Um, but so I grew up in a household where it was no water, no food, parties all the time.
Okay, Daddy's got it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Hey, listen, that's fine.
He wanted his tablet and he didn't know where it was. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So at the age of 4, I started being sexually molested by a female who I found out later in life was also molested as a child. And so I was scared of her. And then also, that was kind of normal to me because it happened for so long. But it was like, don't you tell. You know what I mean? She was a couple years older than me, but she was a bigger girl. So like I was scared. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get her in trouble because I loved her. And I was embarrassed in those things. So I never spoke about it until I was an adult. And come to find out, my brother and some other children were also sexually abused by her. And then let's see here, around the age of 13, I started dating, and around that time, there was someone in my life who was on drugs and alcohol, and started to sexually abuse me at the age of 13. It scared me really bad. So I told on it. But the person I told didn't want to believe me. They were in love with that person, obsessed with that person. So they would never do anything like that, And it was people that I trusted and relied on in my life. So that was kind of hard. So at the age of 15, I got pregnant with Hayden. And I was never so thankful in my life to be able to leave from home, to not have to be the adult, to not have to worry about whether I was hungry or whether I was going to have heat or water to be able to take a bath. I was always the poor kid. Like we grew up on food stamps and HUD paying our rent. And then those utility checks were never towards utilities. And sometimes the food stamps actually brought food into the house. Back then, it was. Is it okay if I say drug names?
Yeah, we are just, if anybody's watching, we are live on Facebook and TikTok that are sometimes a little finicky. If they kick us off, though, we are streaming on YouTube. They won't kick us off. feralbutsober.podbean.com, feralbutsober.onestream.live. We are all of those places that will not kick us off no matter what. So you're free to say whatever you want. If anybody's watching on a platform that does kick us off, just hop on another place. We're lots of places.
So back then it was Oxycontin and cocaine. I remember being about 13 years old and being in the bathtub, and my mom came into the restroom, and I remember just being like, "Mama, if you're gonna get high, just don't use a needle, okay? Just don't use a needle." I don't. That's just one of my core memories. I can't really explain why. But at 15, I moved out. Me and my brother went to CPS ourselves, and I went to live with my boyfriend, and his mother took temporary custody of me, and my brother went to my aunt. My brother chose to go back. I did not. I did not want my child being raised the way I'd been raised. And at the age of 15, that was just the decision I made. My baby's not going to have water or heat, and those types of things. I graduated high school with a 2-year-old and a part-time job. Um, did really well. Um, and then I met who is my husband. I met him. We had started dating, and a couple months after that, my son's father took me to court. We got joint custody. But because I didn't have stable housing and those things, he got, lead parent. So I was in and out of Hayden's life. I was young and dumb and hadn't been a teenager and all those things. So I got the chance. I ran with it. So I met my husband. We became boyfriend girlfriend. 2 months later, I moved in with him. I did not know that he was a true alcoholic. I did not know that he was a true drug addict. Like he had told me that because my husband's from Texas, he had told me that he dabbled in drugs and that he moved up here to get off of them. And I thought that he only drank on the weekends when we partied. When moving in with him, I found out that not to be the fact. He was never abusive physically or anything like that. It was just emotionally, mentally, he drove you crazy. Like, it was never a dull moment, and not in a good way. So at 8 months, we decided to get married, and 2 days before my wedding, I found out I was pregnant with my second child, Caleb. And during my whole pregnancy, my husband was fall down, slobber, nasty, drunk half the time. By the end of the night, he was extremely happy drunk. He liked to have fun and liked to hang out with people, just not with me because I was sober and didn't want him to be drinking. So that was no fun. And then when Caleb was born, a year later, I was pregnant with my daughter Cassie. And I had her. He stayed intoxicated the whole time. He had lost his job due to lack of work, so unemployment came in. We moved back to my hometown, and things just kind of got worse from there. So my parents were like, "Oh, well, you can do these pain pills, and it'll give you your energy and make you feel better." So that was my excuse to start doing pain pills and those things, was so that I could deal with my drunk husband better, and I could take care of my children better, and I could be in a better mood, and all those excuses that we can use. And then we lost our house and things like that. So my children went to live with my in-laws. And in that time, we went to a house where they were manufacturing methamphetamines. I'd never even heard of meth before. Didn't know anything about it. And in the 3 weeks that we were there, the police came. We were all charged with manufacturing methamphetamines. It was lowered to criminal facilitation and manufacture. I was put on drug court. And in that time of drug court, I moved into a sober living in Irvin. Still surrounding myself with the same likings of people that I knew I shouldn't, but they were family, and they were all I had because my husband was still in jail. Did really well. My husband got out of jail. We got our children back. In that time, without my children and my husband, it was the first time since being a teenager that I wasn't a mom. I wasn't a wife. I had really no responsibilities. So I went buck wild. I was cheating on my husband. I was getting knocked down, dragged out drunk because they didn't test as often for alcohol. So I got away with it a lot easier. 2 years in, I still didn't complete. I got revoked. So jail time in and out throughout my story quite often. Lost our children permanently. Let's see here. And that was a little over a decade ago. I was suffering on a parole violation. And thankful today for the people who have my children, adopted my children. They've given them the best life imaginable, and they did for them what I could not do for them. Forever grateful for that. But she told us she was sick and tired of our bull crap, and that if she got them again, we would never get them back. And that was true. In 2017, I started my journey with treatment facilities. And in that time, I was there maybe 48 hours, and I ran. Scared to death, didn't know really what was going on. Knew that I had a problem, but didn't know I lost the word I'm looking for, how massive the problem was. I knew that I liked methamphetamines. It gave me energy, and it made me feel pretty and strong, and I felt like Superwoman. And there was no bad feelings about myself. I didn't have to deal with the life around me of losing my children, or, because I was an IV user. So, I didn't have to feel bad about the point that I was sticking a needle in my arm 100 times a day and all those things. But I had to find ways to start making money. My husband had separated, and I had to find ways to make money. Like I knew I'd had a couple jobs in my life, but I'd never been made to get a job and be responsible and take care of myself. And I wasn't about to do that, selfish and self-centered as I was. Don't they know who I am? Why should I have to work? So at that time I started learning how to prostitute. I sold my body for drugs and money. I sold drugs. I traded drugs. I stole from stores. In that, I was committing adultery, lying, cheating. I'd lost all self-respect. I had my dignity was gone, my self-esteem, my self-worth, and I was already pretty suicidal thoughts. Wasn't brave enough to attempt to kill myself. The obsession was extremely strong, and my addiction had a really hard hold on me. When I'd left winter treatment, a little while before that, my husband had left winter treatment, and that's what gave me the idea. So when I went, I was there for a little while, a couple days left, ran off. I did this multiple times. Each time I would stay longer. Hi.
Hi.
I'm on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Sorry.
You're absolutely fine.
But and I didn't care about myself, let alone anybody else. So the one person that always had faith and hope in me was my husband. He seen something in me that nobody else seen or I didn't see. But I was horrible to him. Like I would say the awfulest things. I would go out and cheat on him, lie to him, leave for weeks at a time, not come home, just to have a validation for myself and to feel wanted or loved for maybe like 5 minutes. But then after that, I would want to slip my wrist, And the only thing to make that feel better would using drugs. So those motions were in repeat constantly. In 2020, my husband went to treatment for the last time. We had gotten in a big fight. We were living with my parents. We had a trap house, honey. We thought we were doing big things, and we were not. It was pretty pathetic and sad. Let me take it back. Sorry. In 2016, my drug dealer accidentally shot himself, and then within that, the bullet went through him and then into me, going in my knee and shattering my femur bone completely in half.
Holy shit.
So I had some metal put in my leg, and but they had to wait 5 days to do surgery because I was so high that they couldn't do surgery with me that intoxicated. That didn't open my eyes. That just gave me another excuse for self-pity. Fast forward. He left for treatment. I didn't know really where he went or anything, but I knew I wasn't ready to quit. And him leaving just gave me fuel for self-pity and things like that. Oh, my husband left me here to drown by myself with all these horrible people, no way to take care of myself. So my addiction got even worse. And of course, I was seeing another man who could help take care of me and supply my drug habit. And I got in contact with my husband, and he said, listen, these are the things. He started talking about living in a sober living and having a sponsor and going to these meetings and getting a support group. And you could hear it in his voice, the changes, like the sadness there, the miserable. He was happy about things going on in his life. He was proud of his sobriety, and he was working really hard to get it. And he was like, anytime you want help, you can call me, but I'm no longer going to allow you or anybody else to hurt me or risk my sobriety. And today I completely understand that. I'm forever grateful for that. So this went on for a couple months. I would call him and, whine and cry and this stuff. And in April of 21, I'd had enough. I knew I either was going to get help or I was going to die. I'd started using fentanyl and heroin, waking up in places. I didn't know where I was at. I'd been raped a couple times during trap house days. So I was just miserable. I was, again, too much of a coward to commit suicide. So it was either get help or die, a horrible way. So I got into the Isaiah House in Versailles. I did 30 days there. It was recommended for me to do more, but I still had the obsession of the relationship in my mind. I couldn't survive without my husband, So I came to Georgetown to an Oxford House. I stayed 3 months and went right back out. Made the excuse that my mother was sick and needed me. Anything and everything that you can think of that's bullshit to get you where you need to be, because I already had it planned and drugs bought before I even got there, from my dad. But I was out for 2 more months. And each time I go out, it's 10 times harder than what it was before. So I came back. I went to recovery works here in Georgetown. I did 30 days on their RTC program and then 6 weeks in their PhD program. Excuse me. And I was done. Like I was done. I knew I was done. And I had seen. So the program I work is AA. I do the 12-step program of AA. I have a higher power of my own. I'm forever grateful for. I'm blessed. So when I say this, I don't mean 13-stepping, because I don't want to get that twisted. So I seen what was happening in my husband's life, the changes that had been made, the program he was working. And I knew that if AA could do that for him, then surely to goodness, it could work for me. Because I seen a happy, joyous person that had begun to get freedom. And that was 14 years I'd known this man. This is the first time I'd seen him actually happy and have a joy and a peace of mind. To have not a heavy heart and to be succeeding in life. So, and to see somebody that you've went through these struggles with and been to hell and back with, to watch them succeed like that, it's a blessing, a very big blessing. But it's motivation, and it's seeing them instead of them promoting. You know what I mean? I see what you're doing, not what you say you're doing. So in that time, I got a sponsor. I got a home group, Turning Our Wheels, in Georgetown, Kentucky, is my home group. It's been my home group since 21. I have an amazing sponsor. I have an amazing support group. I have support through my home group, which I could call anyone at any time. But I have some women in my life that are extremely important in helping guide me and give me suggestions, and being there when I need them. I think that's extremely important in a program or in any type of recovery. I don't care what program you got, what you're doing to stay sober, as long as you're having a happy and joyous life. You know, I don't care what ism program it is, as long as you're doing one and it's making you who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah.
Forever grateful for Turning Our Wheels. So I worked in factories and stuff, but I felt like God didn't put me through all these things not to be able to help somebody. And I really desired working in treatment. I wanted to help people more than some of the help I got. I wanted them to know that they were loved, and that they could do this. And it didn't matter where you came from or what your background looked like or whether you had money or all those things, you know. Because in some of the treatment facilities I was in prior, if you weren't buddy with one of them, or they didn't know you before, or you know, you didn't have on the right clothes or things like that, they didn't really show an interest in you, you know. And I wanted to give that to everybody. Faith of a mustard seed, having somebody stand behind you, and knowing and giving you cheerleader, you know what I mean? That matters, especially in early recovery. And that's what I wanted to do. But God set me down for a year. I worked in a factory. And then another year went by, almost a year. And then I applied for the PHP program at Recovery Works. I got hired. But I was mixing my recovery with working in recovery. So I was obsessing over working all the time. I was obsessing over money, because I'd never made that much money ever. So then I got an addiction to shopping. I'd stopped meeting with my sponsor on a regular basis. I'd stopped doing my 10, 11, 12. I'd stopped talking about my issues and bringing them to head and to light. Instead, I was holding them in. I started people pleasing really bad. And with that, in January 24, the 26th, I relapsed for 12 hours. I was supposed to be going and spend the night with my mother in the hospital. My mom is extremely ill. She is in a nursing home, and she is on dialysis and things like that. So she's terminal. But so, of course, Captain Sabaho that I was being, I'm going to go down and see her and spend the night with her and take care of her. And in that, on the way down, I just decided that I was going to get high. And my addiction and the fucked up brain that I have was like, okay, I'm not going to go do Suboxone because I don't want to throw up the whole time. That would just be sucky, right? I don't want to do fentanyl because I don't want my husband to have to bring me home in a body bag.
Right.
So I'm gonna go give me some ice. My brother sold it to me, and it was laced with fentanyl. So I was speedballing, overdosing, all at the same time, and it scared me really bad. But the obsession started immediately. I think before the drug could take effect, the obsession started. So I kept doing it. The bag that I bought, but about halfway through, I was like, so I feel like I'm dying. So you can have this back. I'm leaving. God told me that day, who I choose to call my higher power. God told me that day that if I didn't leave when I left, make it make it out for that today. God sent me out of there because on my own, I sure couldn't have done it. I left. I came back to Georgetown. I told my husband, and he looked at me, and he said, well, you fucked up. So you fix it. I love you and I support you, but there's nothing I can't save you. You have to do this on your own. So I called and got a bed treatment right away. I called my boss through the facility that I was working at. Told her what had happened, and I had in the store. So that saved me my job. I lived in an Oxford house at the time. So they saved I didn't spend the night there because my AA brain had told me not to disrespect them and not to harm anybody. So I did not spend the night there. I could come in the next morning. I told them what happened. Told them I was going. So my program worked in my life enough to the point where I didn't have to lose everything this time. I still had my bed at my sober living. I didn't sell my car. I didn't sell everything I owned because I had a head full of AA and a spiritual relationship with my higher power, which saved my life, I do believe. I did 40 days in treatment program. And when I went in, instead of thinking that I knew everything and that, I'd been through this before, I had it down, I shut my mouth, opened my ears, and tried to learn anything and everything that I could. Because apparently something had gone wrong somewhere, and I didn't know anything, apparently, since I decided to relapse. I have knowledge from before, but I'm always learning. I still don't know shit. Even today, I still don't know shit. I did my best to learn and observe and to try to do things different this time. I came out. I went back to my job, but I just felt like mentally I wasn't ready. So the guilt, shame, and remorse was really bad for me. I felt like I didn't deserve to keep the job that I had, or I didn't deserve to be able to have my bed and things, or I didn't deserve to have my support group still that loved me and just wanted the best for me. So I had a real hard time with self-pity and guilt, shame, and remorse. But I got with my sponsor. I started the steps over from 1. I took my time and I was extremely thorough. I got in better contact with my higher power, which my relationship with him today is stronger than it's ever been, because I know I have to rely on him because this is not something that I've done all by myself. God has led the way, and I give my will over to him every morning, because if I do things my way, honey, we're going to be up shit creek without a paddle. And I know that today. I have real good character defects. I like to fix, manage, control. I like to people please. My disease tells me that I know everything and I'm right about everything, and that's just not true. So forever grateful that I have a sponsor that can call me out on my bullshit and help me fix the things that need to be fixed. That I have a support group that will do the same thing. Grateful that I have a home group that I walked right back into, and they all hugged me and told me they were glad I made it back and that they loved me and missed me and that it was okay. Forever grateful for that. I bawled like a baby. Bawled like a baby my first night because I'd never had so much love, and acceptance, real acceptance and love, and saying this, it's okay. It happened, but get up and get your shit together and don't let this deter you from what God's got planned for you. So with that, I took a mental break from working in recovery for a couple months. Worked on my steps. I think it took me 4 or 5 months to actually do them because I tried to be as thorough as possible this time and be as honest as I could be. So in June of last year, I went back to working in PHP program. I loved walking into that place and their face lighting up when I came, being able to sit down and speak with them and cheer them on and let them know that they could do this and that I was just like them. I was no better, that I'd been exactly where they'd been, and that this is where I am today. Now, by no means do I have a perfect life and this big bougie life, but I have peace and a joy that is out of this world, and I am better than what I was before. So if I'm trying to be better than what I was yesterday, and I'm helping someone in the process, then I've done my job for the day. Trusting God, cleaning house, and helping others. Those are the three things that I do religiously on a daily basis. But I went back into that program, started working there. Love it. Love working with the clients. In March, so for the last 4 years, me and my husband haven't lived together. He lived at a sober living. I lived at a sober living. He became the manager. I moved out with my best friend and her husband is my husband's best friend. So we're all in recovery. Us three lived together. Well, in March of this year, my husband and I moved back in together. And our best friends who got married in December, we all live together. But we rent this big bougie nice house that's real expensive, in Georgetown, Toyota. The prices are crazy to rent a house. But the day we were moving in, we got a call from our boss that said they were ending the PHP program, and we had 30 days to find a job. So that was heartbreaking. I cried like a baby. I didn't know what I was going to do. Fear had set in. I kind of got angry and didn't know why. So I was kind of, questioning God. Why would you let us get this nice house and then take away, our financial security? And the last week of PHP, my knee started hurting me worse than what arthritis normally would. I went to the hospital. MRSA had attacked my joints where I'd been shot. So I had emergency surgery. I had no insurance. I had emergency surgery. They gave me pain medication, and I did not like the feeling. It scared me. I did not like feeling that way. I didn't like, I felt guilty. But it was in a place where it was given the right way by people that were supposed to give it, and under doctor's orders. But I did my husband got there and he was like, "Why are you crying like that?" I was like, "Because I'm intoxicated and I don't like it."
That's in your heart, yeah.
I don't like this anymore. The next morning I had emergency surgery. I was hospitalized for 5 days. They scraped MRSA off of my joints in my knee and put me on a PICC line. So when you're a recovering drug addict, the first thing doctors and surgeons see is that you're a junkie, not that you're in recovery or anything like that. So you have to explain yourself 1,000 times. And
to everybody that comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank God for those nurses. Or I probably would have been in a lot more pain than I needed to be. They put me on a PICC line, so that was the whole interview process itself, because I'm a recovering addict. I was on a PICC line, and 3 weeks later, the infection came back because I didn't take my hardware out. So another surgery that removed my hardware. And in this time, I was gave pain medication. I took it the way I was prescribed. I still didn't like the way it made me feel, but I didn't get the feeling of the obsession. The obsession didn't start. I worked a really strong program. Like I worked my program strong all the time, but I did extra work during this time. Right. But I was forever grateful that the obsession wasn't there. Like I left unset on my nightstand. It wasn't eating at me to go take more or to do them a different way than the way I was supposed to, or ingest them a different way than I was supposed to. And the support I had from AA was amazing. the people that came and seen me and called and offered to be of service, I've never had that in my life. Never. And then here I am out of a job. Now I'm sick and hurt, not able to work. I have a family that I've created, which is my husband, my best friend, her husband. I call him my brother. We're extremely close. They called my husband. They said, "Hey, we're gonna split the bills 3 ways to make it easier on you, so you don't have to pay all Stacy's and yours." They took care of me night and day, not just financially. She wiped my tail and gave me a bath. She laid with me in a hospital bed for days at a time, crying with me, praying with me. I will forever be grateful for that. They have never left my side. They never gave up on me. They always had faith, and been proud of me, and they love me. Today I know what real love is. I get that within myself. I love myself today more than I ever have. But I know what it's like to be loved by others the right way also. And that's God putting people in your life when you need them. And God puts everybody in your life for a reason. Sometimes, they're there for a short time. Sometimes they're there for a long time. I have been blessed to have people that I'm going to have for a lifetime. They're definitely my family. She has children, so I've had the chance to become their bonus mom and a meemaw. They trust me and they love me. I get to watch grandbabies today. You know what I mean? I have gotten my peer support, and I got my certification in a professional recovery coach. My dream is to one day be a drug and alcohol counselor. If God intended, that's what I want to do. I want to be as much use as I can to people, to give them strength and hope, and have faith in them so they can have just as much of a beautiful life as I have today and the others that are around me. So God willing, the 27th of January, I will have 2 years. I try to remain humble and know that I have 24 hours. That's what I have. I have today. If I step back into yesterday or step forward into tomorrow, I'm doing way too much. For an alcoholic and a drug addict like me, I have to stay within seconds sometimes. But forever grateful that I have this program and I have a God that has leaded me in the way to where I have a peace that is unexplainable. I can sit by myself today. I love myself today. That God has let me be of use in good ways today. Forever grateful and appreciative of the blessings that God has gave me and the experiences He's letting me have. This is an amazing experience. I'm so grateful that you let me come on here and share my story and be able to get some experience, strength, and hope, and let people know that they're not alone. If you're struggling right now, you're definitely not alone. And if there's any way, I know with Miss Lauren here too, if you need help in any way, holler at either one of us getting into treatment or anything like that. I'm also on a foundation, a nonprofit foundation for Scott County. We help people in Scott County that are affected by drug addiction or are a drug addiction themselves, are recovering from it. Families that are grateful to have that experience and be able to do that also. These are things never in my life that I thought were that I imagined I could do. Never, ever, ever. Forever grateful because it wasn't me. I did some work. I did some real hard.
Damn, she left. I think she lost service, guys. She was right in the middle of a sentence. So, let's hope that she comes back. Let's see if I can send her a message. She had a really powerful story. She's been going for almost 45 minutes, guys, and she well, I think she was finishing up with her journey, but that is truly amazing. I know I said to her earlier that I think if the cards were ever stacked against anybody, it was stacked against people like me and her that that came from the the households of addiction, and that was all we ever knew. Hey, there she is back. I said thank you all service, but I was just telling
sorry.
everybody what I had said to you on our call earlier, that I think if ever the cards were stacked against people, it was people that they came from the household of addicts, that grew up that lifestyle and followed in those footsteps, because because that's all we ever knew. So like, I again, I don't want to ever say that anybody's addiction was, or I'm sorry, anybody's recovery was harder or less hard than anybody else's, because, everybody has their own obstacles and things like that. But, people that come from, that is a product of addiction, just straight up, and that's all we ever knew. I think it is just so difficult because we have to relearn everything. Absolutely. And speaking of that, I made a little intro video, and I wanted to show it while you were on here, and I forgot before you started talking, so I'm going to play it now.
Yeah.
And then we can continue talking, but I want to play it before I forget, because I think you're going to really like it.
Towards the cliff, I've fallen into the blue, but don't try to stop me, 'cause I'm in recovery. Light me a fire, I'll step too close, I'll learn to let go of you, but don't try to stop me, 'cause I'm in recovery.
So that's actually what I called our segment today, was Born into the Fire, because I don't know a better way to describe it than that, because that's what it was. It was chaos and hell and just, all these different things. And that was what we called normal, for a long time of my life. I didn't even know that it wasn't okay or wasn't normal, or that everybody's parents didn't get high on the coffee table, or that,
Right.
And all this stuff. So, and by the time that I did know that it was wrong, I was already getting high. So, who cares then, And so I just, I really just think you're made of tough stuff. Somebody said that to me. I shared my story for the first time in a long time in peer support class. And that's what he said to me. Like, when I was done speaking, he was like, I don't know what to say, but you're made of tough stuff. And I don't know, nobody has said more to me in so little words ever in my life. Like that, just, I was like, not to pat myself on the back, but I am, and you are too. And so I wanted to say that to you, because when they said it to me, it made such a big impact. I wanted to say it to you. I know you said, like, you grew up with like no water, no heat, no electric. Like, how does it feel now coming from that to have what you have now? You said you have like a big, beautiful, nice house and a family of your own creation that isn't, influencing you in bad ways or putting you in harm's way or harming you themselves. Like, how does that feel to come from where you came from and have what you have today?
It's indescribable. I have such gratitude for life today, and I remain humbled at all time, because I know at any instant it can be taken away. But I've worked really hard for what I've got, and it's for this lifestyle. If I don't remain sober and work my recovery to the fullest, then I could lose it any second. So like, it's a big deal to me. Like, to pay my bills. When I pay my water, honey, I'm excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I did a video. I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I did a video the other day. We got our first property tax bill the other day. We own our home now. And last year we didn't get one because I guess, I don't know, like where we moved in or whatever, but like we didn't have to pay tax last year. But we got our first property tax bill, and I was super excited. And I was like, who in the hell gets excited over? But I was like, dude, I own my home. Like, I'm stoked,
Congratulations.
Like,
that's
yeah,
big.
Thank you. Yeah. But like, never growing up, like I never had a home. I dang sure never thought I was gonna own one. Like, I live in a car or a 10 or God knows, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
And I wanted to touch too real quick on, like, you said like when you had surgery and they gave you pain pills and stuff, like, for anybody that is in recovery, it is okay to take medication that the doctor prescribes, and everyone do what you're comfortable with and what your own self. And so, you know yourself and do what you know your limits or whatever. But as long as you take it as prescribed and it's not your intention to get high, then you keep your sobriety date. Like it, you know.
Yeah. So what we like to call it accountability partners. Because I live with other recovering addicts who have more time than me and are very strong in their recovery. Please come count my pills if you feel the need to.
Right.
Hold me accountable if you feel the need to. I want you to. It made things easier, I think. One, I was very proud of myself because I knew they were just sitting there. You know what I mean? Honey, if I didn't need it, I didn't take it, you know? And I only took it as prescribed. I was prescribed more and I was like, no, I don't need it. I'm not going to take it,
Right.
you know? And like a couple years ago, honey, that would never, ever happen.
Never, yeah.
You know what I mean? And what I had left over, I probably would have sold, you know?
They wouldn't have made it past the first day or two in, you know, for my past self, you know, so.
Yeah, but absolutely what you're comfortable with. Cause like, I know that I have a friend fixing to have surgery and he's like, I told him, no, I don't want any, and that's okay. A couple years ago, I probably would have said no also, you know what I mean?
Right.
Cause it's something scary. It's a legitimate fear, you know? But if you know you're doing the right thing and you're doing it as prescribed and things like that, you do what's best for you, you know?
And I think like if you feel guilty, that's a good thing, you know, because like just our minds, you know, like I think it's a good thing. Like if you feel guilty, that's definitely like growth and progress. Like doesn't mean that you're wrong or that you should feel guilty because we all experience guilt, you know, when we shouldn't. But like I think that that's a good sign, like a good thing. I think, you know, because I never showed remorse for the things that I did in my past life. So I also
Absolutely.
congratulate you. You graduated high school with a toddler like that. Kudos to you. Who was your support system? I know you said you moved out when you got pregnant. I'm sorry, I got a little confused, I think, in your story. When you moved out, where did you go? You and your brother turned yourself into CPS, correct?
Yeah, so we called we called TPS. My brother went to live with my aunt, and I went to live with my boyfriend's mother. She took temporary custody of me. So I lived with her. She was probably so I had my mom's sisters and mother for a while. My mom's mother passed away when I was 16, and then my dad's mom and sisters, they took care of me a whole lot. That's where I would go to get peace. You know what I mean? My brother stayed at home all the time. He dealt with things different, and he didn't want to leave them. You know, he was scared.
Right.
But so my aunts and grandmothers took care of me a whole lot. And I always had them, and I know I always had them. They didn't want me to turn out like them, but you know, they still loved me. They just, you know, at a certain point, it was, listen, you're affecting our lives too much, and you know we can't have that, which I understand today. And then Hayden's grandmother, she took care of me like I was her own. She loved me, and I had nice things, you know. I always had my utilities on. There was food in the fridge, you know. And I'm forever grateful for her, man.
She was not an addict.
No.
Yeah.
She worked in our school, middle school. She helped with children that had learning disabilities and, you know, deafness and things like that. She and her husband had committed suicide when we were in the 6th grade. Hayden's dad, you know, he had trauma and things too. But she took extremely good care of me. Even after we broke up and I moved out, she still loved me and helped me in any way possible that she could with that, you know, hurting. And she took care of my child until, you know, he got grown. She was, you know, Hayden's dad was there and present, but she was his parent.
Caregiver, right?
Yeah. He was her baby, man. And I'm forever grateful that she could do what I couldn't for him.
I want to real quick shout out to TikTok. Hi guys, I know we got some people on there. Hi, Scott. there was somebody else in here earlier. If anybody has any questions or comments for Stacy, go ahead. Feel free at any time. Drop them, guys. You don't have to wait for me to ask. Oh, there was one more thing. Oh, your son. I'm sorry. You said there was sexual abuse and then you moved out. So, but the baby was not a product of the abuse. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. All right. I got a little bit lost there. And, so when you called the CPS though, did you tell them about the abuse or what did you guys say? Just about the drug use or?
No. So I had spoken to my family about it. And it was kind of like one of those hush hush things. Like he wouldn't do that, and that was very untrue. But it was kind of like, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to kind of sweep it under the rug. And it just, life went on from there, and I think that's one of the things that made me angry and upset a whole lot in my life. And it was one of the things that after a while I started using an excuse, but grateful today that I've dealt with those things and I can forgive for me. And I hope that one day those people find peace, and can forgive themselves.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you said you had a family of your own creation. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I can't, like I said, to have to learn how to and that's what you did. You learned how to build a family and, and now that's what you have and be great. And I love that you keep saying like that you're grateful and I love that because I know, you said like that your son that you've reached out and he hasn't, and you're like, he doesn't know me anything. And that's big. That's so big because it's even, I talked about this in an episode before. Like I want, especially when I first got clean, I thought everybody should forgive me because I'm clean now. Like why not? Like that's our entitled little ass spoiled brat. I want what I want. And so that's huge. That's huge for you to say that. And I'm sure that it's tough and I'm sure that, you have things that you work through, but for you to say that, and I really hope one day that he does come around for you. But in the meantime, all you can do is give him space and for you to understand that that's so big. And I'm so proud of your growth. And I know like in my little video, it said like you had more detours than you planned or whatever. And I did too, man. But like, I think like, again, coming from such a terrible situation, like, yeah, we had trial and error, but we got there. Like we knew what the end goal was supposed to be and we shot for it. And sometimes we missed, but hey, we kept trying. And that's the important thing too. And I love your husband. Like, I love that you said he never gave up on you like the whole time. Like, but then he set a healthy boundary. I love that too. Cause I was wondering, you said like you kept calling him and I was thinking in my head, like, oh, that's not very healthy. But then you said, like he said, and I love that. I love that for you because maybe that was what, pushed you to go because obviously, you have great feelings for him. So if you thought that maybe you were going to lose him forever, because it sounds like he stuck around even, when maybe he shouldn't have or, whatever. And so for, now you're realizing like, hey, I really might lose him. Maybe that's
You're exactly right. You're exactly right on that. He had faith in me when I didn't have it myself. And those healthy boundaries are probably one of the things that saved my life, really, because I didn't want to lose him, and it was either you're going to get sober and we can do this together, or I'm going to remain sober and I wish you the best. I love you, but you're not going to hurt me anymore. And I'm not going to risk my sobriety for nothing or nobody. So in my AA group, I hear this all the time. No matter who loves me, leaves me, or dies, I have to be okay at the end of the day. So to get through all those things, I still have to be okay at the end of the day. So whether my child ever speaks to me again, or if my husband leaves me ever, any of those things at the end of the day, if I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing in my recovery, I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. They may hurt and they may suck, but I feel them. I get over them. I work through them. And God willing, I will remain sober and be okay with life,
Amen to that. I have just a few more things. We're almost out of time. one thing is, I love how you like, when the last time you relapsed, it was literally like hours. Like, you went straight back and told on yourself. And I think that's super important. Like, rather, sometimes we fuck up, guys, like whatever, even if you're thinking about it, like say it out loud. Like, hey, I'm thinking about getting high. That's the best way to get over it, is to just put it out there in the universe. Then you start thinking about, like, well, if I get high, what's going to happen? And and then you're not going to want to do it. Like, if you try to hide from it, that's what always gets me caught up in my mind, like thinking I could be sneaky. If you just say it out loud, then like people are looking at you, you start thinking, like.
I totally agree.
I have a question that I usually ask all my guests. If you could sit beside yourself in your darkest hour right now with all the knowledge that you have, you could give yourself one piece of advice. What is it?
Trust God.
Nice.
Trust God.
Okay. Well, we are out of time for today. Thank you so much for helping me out. I really hope we can get you and your husband back on. I love to do that couple segment. I really like to see people that made it through together. I really love to see people like us that made it out of the fire, we're going to call it. Thank you so much for helping me out.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just get with me and we'll set up a date, darling. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
You have a good day.
I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging. Ran through everything in front of me, might smoke bed in heaven.